Welcome to the Connect with BMC Helix ITSM and Remedy webinar series. Today's topic is on Remedy and Helix ITSM 20.02 feature release. During today's presentation, you can ask questions during the presentation for our panelists to answer. Any Q&A will be published with the recording within a week of today's live presentation. And Peter Adams, a Senior Director of Product Management, and his team will take us through today's content. Over to you, Peter.
Thanks, Greg. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Adams, Senior Director of Product Management for BMC's ITSM solution. On behalf of the entire Remedy and Helix ITSM product management team, I'd like to welcome you to the 20.02 feature release webinar. We appreciate that you take time out of your busy schedule to join us today to hear about the enhancements we released with this version 20.02. Let's have a quick look at the agenda. First, I want to share a little bit of information about BMC's point of view around the convergence of service and operations experience. I always feel like it's helpful for you to understand BMC's position on where the market is going, because that certainly has influence on the direction of the ITSM solution. So it's helpful context for you to understand this. Then I'll start out with a general overview of the 20.02 release before we go into the core of the webinar today, and that's an overview of the new capabilities. This will include some live demos, and I'm joined by the product management team for this part of the webinar. I'll close that with some references to helpful material. And then I want to share some information about an upcoming customer program for ITSM. So let's get started. BMC has always seen the two areas, IT service management and IT operations management, as closely related. You could argue for a number of years we had the most advanced integration between these two solutions, whether it's through our BMC service resolution integration that has a very intelligent way to convert events into incidents, whether it's through our option to suppress monitoring events during change windows, or for example, through our closed loop compliance integration with the automation toolset that we have on the ITOM side. So we've always looked at this topic as extremely important for companies to have a good integration between the two worlds. But we see this area changing. In fact, we see three key reasons why these two worlds need to grow closer together. The first one is that automation, in our perspective, is becoming more and more important. In this world of ever-increasing speed and complexity and heterogeneity, it's impossible to keep up with everything just through more manual work. So you have to look at automation. And that's why, from our perspective, automation, and specifically cognitive automation, is so important. Secondly, when you do cognitive automation, you need a lot of data. Now, we have implemented some great capabilities in the ITSM solution that relies on the ITSM data that's already in the system. But when you look at where there's an even greater wealth of data that's in our IT operations management solution, so you can draw even better conclusion if you're not just looking at prior incidents or changes, but at the entire set of metrics that our monitoring solution, for example, collects. And last but not least, also from a user experience perspective, we see more and more convergence here. So tools like our chatbot that we're offering on the service management side, there are actually a lot of use cases to tie that also into the IT operations management world. And therefore, BMC has decided to change our approach here and not consider these two separate areas anymore, but to approach this as one single IT service management and IT operations management platform with different capabilities from discovery to monitoring, to IT service management, to remediation, to optimization. And we are the only vendor really provides this complete set of capabilities at an industry leading level with a joint AI platform underneath. I'm sure you'll hear more about this over the course of time as we bring these two solution areas closer together, but this has already started, the work has already started on the BMC side on this. One area where you see this is as part of our BMC Helix portfolio. I'm sure you've seen the picture here on the right side. As you'll notice, this Helix portfolio has now been expanded to include areas like monitoring, remediation, and optimization. And we've already released first versions of these areas to the market as SaaS solutions, running on the same principle of containerization and cloud of choice. Of course, at the same time, we continue to invest in our on-premise solutions with Remedy IT Service Management, BMC Discovery, or our TrueSight suite, giving you the flexibility to deploy the solution where you think it's best. Now, we believe there's a lot of value in deploying our solutions as a SaaS service because it frees you up from the mundane management of the infrastructure itself or from upgrades. But in the end, you have the flexibility to choose. So after this quick overview, let's dive deeper into the 20.02 release. This is part of our standard release cadence and is a feature release that is available both on-premise as Remedy ITSM as well as a SaaS service with BMC Helix ITSM. You'll notice here on the chart that we did have a SaaS-only release in between our 19.11 release, which was somewhat of an exception. We don't plan to continue doing these kind of in-between SaaS-only releases. We had to do this for specific reasons. We also wanted to try out whether we can increase the delivery of innovation through this approach. But again, have decided that we will not do this kind of SaaS-only releases in between anymore. Let's look at the 20.02 scope itself. As stated, this is both available for SaaS and on-premise, and it's really a full stack feature release, meaning that we have new versions 20.02 for the entire Remedy stack from AR System, CMDB, Smart Reporting, Applications, Live Chat, and Smart IT, but as well for some related components like Remedy Single Sign-On or our add-ons like BMC Helix Cognitive Automation or BMC Helix Multi-Cloud Service Management. When you look at the key enhancement areas, there's 4 main areas here that we've released enhancements in the 20.02 release. The first one is a new automation dashboard that will help you provide better transparency about the progress of your automation initiative to internal stakeholders in your company. Automation, as I stated, becomes more and more important, so we want to make sure that we help companies to organize their automation initiatives in a way that they can show progress and can easily identify the next level and the next target of automation. The second area you'll hear more about is our new investment in security incident management. We're expanding here the scope of our solutions, although you could make the point that some customers had used ITSM for security incident management in the past. Now we are more formalizing this approach, both through additional capabilities of the ITSM solution, as well as through more predefined integrations. User experience continues to be a big topic for us, a big investment area. And also in this release, we have increased capabilities for Smart IT and the new CMDB UI. You'll hear more about this in a few minutes. And then last but not least, as in every release, we have improvements around the platform. Many of them are standard, like compatibility enhancements, administrative enhancements. But this release, we also have some very interesting things around on the integration side, specifically with REST API. In addition to all of this, we have spent a significant amount of time on further improvement our security stance as well as our quality. Now, these topics are always focus for our release. In every release, we're looking at quality improvements. And of course, we have an extensive set of security processes to make sure our software is secure. But we wanted to be proactive in this area and push the limits further, and have invested significantly in these three areas here, further improving our security processes for our software, updating some of the third-party libraries that we have much more comprehensively than in past releases, and then last but not least, again, more investment in our quality processes here, whether it's test automation, whether it's defect backlog reduction, etc. So that was a big part of the investment that we had for the 20.02 release, and we wanted to share that with you as well. Now let's get started with the core content of the webinar here, the new capabilities. And I'll start out with the first topic here around the automation dashboard, the new automation dashboard that we introduce. If you look at the topic of automation, we've always stated to our customer base that automation is extremely important, standardization and automation, I should say. And the prime area where we recommended this was, of course, the service catalog, right? Where you have a set of standardized requestable items that can and should be highly automated. Now we expanded options on the user experience side. Not only can you go through our best-in-class digital workplace portal to request something, now we can also interact with a chatbot around the clock, 24/7. And that makes it even more interesting to then plug automation in the back end for these kind of standardized catalog requests. Again, we've always supported a number of automation options. Most recently, we've expanded that into the option to plug in or to integrate automation anywhere bots. So these are robotic process automation bots. But again, we are fairly open around how you automate. The most important part is that you do it. Now, where we didn't help very much so far was giving the teams that organize these and implement these automations a way to communicate their progress to the internal stakeholders. And that's something that we are introducing here with this new dashboard that we're releasing as part of the 20.02 release. Now, how do we do this? First of all, we're introducing a mechanism how you can track for work orders. That's the scope of this first release here, that you can track for work orders if a work order is automated or not. And I'll get a little bit into details later on. And secondly, once you can measure whether a work order is automated or not, you can report back to the internal stakeholders how many work orders are automated, what the error rate is, how many are still manual. So a number of things that will help you understand better how you're progressing around your automation initiative. And last but not least, we also display information about which automation for these work orders have failed and which not. Okay, let's look at this quickly in a live demo. And I'm switching over to my browser here. So I'm logged into Smart Reporting here, and as you can see, I configured the new automation dashboard to show up after the login. Now let me quickly go through the different sections of this dashboard. First of all, the data that you can see here, you can configure over which time interval you want to see the data. In this case here, I'm looking at the data from September to December 2019. Up on top, you see the total numbers, the total number of automation runs, as well as the relative success and failure of these automation runs. The bar chart below is probably the most important one, because this tells you the automation runs per month, as well as, again, how many have failed. Now, this chart is extremely valuable because you can use it to show the progress of your automation initiative to your internal stakeholders. So you can see over the different months how much the automation has increased over time. Further down below, you see the work order automation rate for that time period. Again, that looks at the total number of work orders that have been fulfilled, and it tells you what percentage have been automated, as well as the automation error rate, which basically only looks at the automated ones and tells you what percentage had failures in it. Another very important chart here on this automation dashboard is the last one down below here, which shows the top 10 non-automated work orders. This is extremely valuable because it'll tell you which work order types you should address next as part of your automation initiative. So we're basically looking at which work order types are not automated. We count how many of the time they were created in the system. And then you can see, these are the best candidates for the next level of automation. By the way, these charts also have drill down capabilities. So you can see, we can display this in tabular format. You can drill down, you can see which types of work orders have been automated, how many automation runs had happened per different types, and the same for the top 10 non-automated work orders. You can even here drill down into the details of the individual work orders that follow this type. Now, to very quickly touch on the way how this is implemented. The key change we made here is that for the work order template, we introduced an additional field. It's called the automation status field. You would set this field to automated if you have implemented automation for this specific work order type. Again, we leave it up to you how to implement the automation. But again, once you've done that, you would set the automation status to automated. Otherwise, it's empty or manual. As you can see here, there are certain records where this is set to manual. Now, once a work order is created using this template, the corresponding value of the automation status field is brought over to the runtime record. So again, for those templates where the status field is set to automated, the runtime work order is actually that field is set to automated. And then again, based on the automation you've implemented, you can then update this field to successful or failed, depending on whether your automation logic was successful or has failed. Right? That allows us to measure whether work orders have been automated or not, and whether they were successfully automated. Again, this is extremely valuable because it helps you showcase to your internal stakeholders what progress you're making, and it also allows you to identify the most important or the top candidates for the next round of automation. Okay, that's it for this topic. Now I hand it over to Pradeep to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Peter. I'm really excited to introduce a brand new theme of capabilities in multi-cloud service management. So as you would remember from the past, we have introduced a bunch of pre-built capabilities to address ticket brokering, DevOps use cases, ticket consolidation, cloud monitoring use cases, and now we are introducing use cases for security incident management. And what I mean by that is that we're introducing a brand new connector for IBM QRadar, which is a SIM application, and which is basically an application that is interacting with a lot of these scanners that are monitoring your network, your servers, your routers, all of your infrastructure, and all of these scanners like Rapid7 and stuff are populating the logs and all sorts of information that's being analyzed by these SIM tools. So as we have heard from you, and many of our current customers are already have built some integrations between SIM tools like IBM QRadar, McAfee, Splunk. Um, we are now introducing pre-built integration between IBM QRadar and Helix ITSM. So this is not just a one-way integration like the rudimentary integrations that are out there. We have a complete two-way integration, completely flexible, configurable in the middle in the multi-cloud service management. You have UI visibility of the QRadar offenses in Smart IT UI specifically on a Smart IT incident, and um, and you have two-way collaboration between these two records. You can have important updates from one end in ITSM incident to be synced up with the QRadar offense. So I'm really excited for this, and this is a theme, as you will see, like the way we have addressed many of these other themes by introducing more and more vendors. So this is a theme that I'm confident that you're going to see a lot more of newer capabilities, new vendors that will be introducing pre-built integrations for. We will also like to highlight some of these other newer capabilities in a brand new connector for TrueSight operations management, right? So BMC already has an API-based integration built between TSOM, let's say that TrueSight operations management, and ITSM, but this is basically using MCSM, so you get that benefit of that mapping in the middle, right? The flexibility and the mapping in the middle, as well as visibility of a TSOM event onto Smart IT incident screen. So lots of exciting capabilities in Multi-Cloud Service Management 20.02. Let's jump into those a little bit more. So just a little bit more about security incident management with ITSM, right? So this is, as you know, multi-cloud service management is an add-on to ITSM, and together we're addressing some of these newer advanced challenges in the service management world, right? So to manage your security incidents using ITSM, we are introducing these pre-built integrations with SIM tools like IBM QRadar, and you can also build your own integration using multi-cloud service management for other SIM tools, right? We have a connector builder. You can reuse some of these components that we are shipping out of the box to build your own integration, and you can also get this Smart IT UI visibility of these any custom integrations that you build. So that's a great set of capability. Next up, we're introducing in ITSM a new incident type for security incident, and this allows you to have different set of controls, right? The visibility to or selection of opcat or based on this value in this field. When we are using IBM QRadar, when we are creating an incident in ITSM using multi-cloud service management, we'll be creating these incidents as security incident type. And basically you have now a very explicit set of control for all these sophisticated ITSM incident management capabilities that are driven through and through the workflow, through the attribute that you can now use. We also have enhanced Smart IT UI, so a brand new filter on the console, ticket console, which can let you filter by incident types. So now if you want to separate out these incidents, you have a very quick out-of-the-box way to do that. In the ticket console, there is a new metric for security incident type, so you can see those numbers, and um, we have a brand new icon that identifies security incidents separately. So, you can our users can quickly identify this is a security incident versus a non-security incident. So lots of exciting capabilities and coming together between ITSM and Smart IT to address this use case. A little more details about this pre-built integration between IBM QRadar and ITSM, right? So as I stated before, these scanners that are watching your network, servers, routers, infrastructure, are creating millions and millions of records, logs in the SIM tool. The SIM tool provides you capabilities to define your rules they'll say, hey, how to cluster things together, how to group things together, which ones of these are important to create an incident for, right? So you have that automation layer. Obviously you will also have some of your security agents working in the SIM tools to be able to deal with some of these exceptions, that offenses and things that come in. And then with the rules and this pre-built integration, now you can create incident ITSM, and you can then sort of manage that work of security incidents with the visibility of the impact, or being able to have all these sophisticated incident management capabilities that ITSM, Helix ITSM or Remedy ITSM offers. So in terms of the pre-built integration, you can create from offenses in IBM QRadar. You can create incidents in ITSM. You have a collaboration. So if there are important notes that our agents are recording inside ITSM Smart IT, you can have it go to QRadar, so you have that sync of information, and also state sync and things like that, so that you can keep these two records completely in sync and have visibility to both of these records across systems. Next up, I like to show, so this is how in a Smart IT UI you can see, and this incident was created from an offense in IBM QRadar. There is a unique icon identifying this incident. Obviously, there is an attribute available which is for incident type. Now it shows security. You now have a region for dedicated set of attributes that were mapped and that were chosen to be exposed in Smart IT using multi-cloud service management. So you have complete context of that offense. You have a way to drill down to that offense, IBM offense from Smart IT, and you have through the activity details area, you have now an ability to share a note, a comment, an important piece of information that you like to be recorded on an offense. And obviously, as you've seen this with multi-cloud service management, it gives you a complete history of chronological order of things that have happened manually on the ticket, or things that might have happened through these interactions between the systems. So the intent here is to give you a holistic picture, a holistic view of that incident with the relevant information from all possible external sources, so that our agents are able to work as efficiently as possible with all the context that they need.
In this demo, we're going to see automatic creation of an ITSM incident from offenses in IBM QRadar using BMC Helix multi-cloud service management. We're also going to see subsequent sync up of information between these two records. To be able to see this capability in action, I'm gonna just log into IBM QRadar. I see the set of offenses on my dashboard. I'm gonna now see the rules, the configuration piece in IBM QRadar, where I have a rule which is being set up to watch for a specific type of exception on a certain machine that QRadar is monitoring. If that exception happens on that machine, QRadar scanners will pick up and create an offense in here. So next up, what I'm going to try to do is get to a machine and try to cause that exception. So this particular server, I log into the server, I run a script to cause that exception that is going to result into creation of an offense in IBM QRadar. QRadar was watching the logs for the script to be causing that offense. So we now see in IBM QRadar this offenses come in, and we can view the details, the pertinent details that we need to see for the offense, and you can drill down onto the offense and view more information, host name, and other relevant particulars that are needed. At this point, since multi-cloud service management is deployed, so it is configured to watch for or monitor matching offense for the trigger conditions specified in multi-cloud service management. It is going to pick up this offense and create an incident in ITSM. Incident shows up in the dashboard. If you drill down on it, you are able to see the title of the incident, which is being taken up from the rule specified in IBM QRadar. This incident is created with a type security, so you can view QRadar offense information on the incident interface. You also have an ability to drill down directly to the QRadar offense from Smart IT. Next up, you can see that you have ability to record important information that you may want to share with the offense. You may want to attach it, any investigation that you may have done, you may want to attach it to the offense from Smart IT. So in that case, you can record that comment in here and choose to share it with QRadar. At this point, comment or that piece of information is being picked up by multi-cloud service management, and it is sent over to QRadar. And as you can see, we get into QRadar and look into this offense, and you can see this information. Remedy user recorded this comment. From there on, if you have an update on the offense in IBM QRadar, then that important update will be picked up by multi-cloud service management and passed it over to Smart IT. Furthermore, any status updates in Smart IT are synced up with the state on the offense as well. So in this case, I'm just resolving this incident, and at that moment, the flow monitoring this incident for any significant updates will pick it up and post the update on the corresponding offense in IBM QRadar. That way, the statuses on both of these records are kept in sync. Before we look into some of the other new features with MCSM, let's take a moment and think about why it is best approach, why it is the right approach to be able to use ITSM for managing security incidents. As we all know, security, enterprise security, information protection, threat detection, vulnerability management, there is just so many different specialized aspects of enterprise in information security. And there are a lot of tools, different tools that are being used in today's environment. Now, many of these tools, depending upon who you are working with in what space, offer some rudimentary ticket management, case management, alert management, event management, offense management capability. You could potentially get away with managing some of the work, but what happens is, you end up signing up, setting these tools up for your assignment. You do not have visibility to the overall impact this specific vulnerability or threat might have to your enterprise. Service model, lack of service models in those applications, they don't even really have concepts like these. All in all, the the process maturity and incident management that exists in the ITSM world that that helps us manage this so much efficiently and effectively that if we bring it in here, we do not have to get into the business of managing those aspects of these other tools. At the same time, have a single pane of glass for all of your incidents. We can use the same standard reporting. We can use the same standard templates and knowledge and these other capabilities that are sort of given in the world of ITSM. Jumping on to some other new capabilities with MCSM 20.02, we're now with MCSM shipping another pre-built integration with BMC Helix TrueSight Operations Management. So this is much more enriched integration than we have shipped before, or BMC has shipped before. With MCSM, now you get complete event visibility onto the ITSM incident. And MCSM is shipping a pre-built flow. It's similar to the capabilities, the API-based integrations that existed before for a number of years. This is enriching that integration, shipping it pre-built, and enriching it through this Smart IT UI visibility. Another new enhancement for this release is pre-built integration with Microsoft Azure has been improved to offer status sync or state sync between the two records. So the ITSM incident and Azure alert, if there are significant updates on one end on the status piece, that gets reflected on the other end. Another exciting feature in this release for MCSM is enhancement to Microsoft Azure DevOps flows. Microsoft Azure DevOps is an agile software development tool. It is the one where you define your sprints, your features, user stories, defects, and bugs. And this unit is called a work item in Azure DevOps. And with the new capability, now you have the ability to automatically create change requests in ITSM from the work item in Azure DevOps. So this is something which is highly applicable for DevOps use cases, specifically if you're using Microsoft Azure DevOps and you have a lot of change volumes of changes that you are putting into your infrastructure, and you want system to automatically create the change request, you can use this capability. Another exciting capability with MCSM 20.02 is for the pre-built integration between ITSM and Jira software. As you know, we have one of the world's leading pre-built integration between these two apps that we are shipping. We're working with a lot of our customers on this exciting development in the world of ITSM, or I'll say Agile ITSM. We have previously shipped pre-built flows for incident, change, work order, and problem object, both ways, bidirectional. What we are shipping in this release is a bidirectional sync between the two records, between ITSM and Jira issue. And this is a request that has come in from many of our customers who are deploying this capability in production. What it does is, if there are significant attribute updates on either record, as these records are going through its life cycle, then multi-cloud service management keeps them in sync, so there is visibility, up to the minute real-time visibility of these critical updates on both of these records. And that concludes my part of the presentation. I'm now going to hand it over to John Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep. Smart IT 20.02 includes some nice new enhancements. We've updated the version of the rich text editor in knowledge management, and that gives us better stability, but also some nice new features. We've updated the console with a new quick text search, which augments the existing filter capability to provide a quicker way of drilling into records. We've also tweaked the way the performance works on the console by limiting the search by default to a smaller time window than previously. There are general accessibility improvements, and also, as we'll see later, a new way of making Smart Recorder work so that we can log tickets even faster. We've updated the rich text editor in knowledge management. This means I can now take Word content, which includes pictures and fonts at different sizes, and I can directly paste that into fields in knowledge management documents. There's no need to upload those images. Copying and pasting drops them straight into the document. When I'm using the ticket console in Smart IT, I can continue to build filters in the usual way by selecting the options from the drop-down list. But also, what I can now do is use this quick text filter to sift through those records a little further. So this augments the existing query by doing a text search for the words I type in. You may have seen at the top of the filter list the note that for faster performances, searches are defaulted to the past 30 days. This is a way of ensuring that we don't inadvertently trigger very long queries in environments with lots of tickets. Users can make an adjustment to this, but the default will now be a shorter time window of 30 days. As I mentioned before, in Smart Recorder we now have a new option to make ticket logging even quicker. What I'm going to do first is show the default, and then we're going to make the configuration change which enables the new faster mode. So this is the default that was standard before. As usual, I use Smart Recorder to enter some details of an issue, and then I'm going to come down to the Create Ticket button to directly submit this. When I do that, the record enters this draft screen mode, which enables me to make further changes, and we may still wish to leave that option in place. However, this new CCS setting enables you to tweak it so that the operation moves even faster. When I've set that to true, I'm going to log the same details and once again go to the Create Incident button. And as you see, when I do this, the incident is directly submitted. I see the ticket number, and then Smart Recorder is immediately ready to log another ticket. That's the end of my presentation. Over to you, Stephen.
Thank you, John. One of the main features we've introduced in CMDB for the 20.02 release is the introduction of the Graphical Query Builder. The Graphical Query Builder replaces the old advanced search and allows you to create a query using a canvas and palette-based UI. So in this example, I'm going to show you running a query which returns servers based on the service that they support. So considering that we are looking for computer systems, as that's usually where we store servers, and we're interested in the services that they support, we'll pick our two main classes. You can go more than two classes, so you can have multiple hierarchy, and we are looking for servers related to business services, and the business service we're going to choose is finance applications. So just pop that in there. Click OK. So we're looking for computer systems, return CIs from class computer system, which are related to business services with the qualifier of finance applications. We'll just validate that, run the search, and as easy as that, we come back with those two computer systems. So that's the Graphical Query Builder. You can also use it for searching a single class. It doesn't have to be multiple classes that you're interested in searching, but it allows you to search through the graph relationships a lot easier. And with that, I hand off to Rahul. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steven. My name is Rahul Vedak, and I'll cover update for AR Platform, Smart Reporting, and Remedy Single Sign-On. Starting with AR Platform, we continue to invest in integration. In previous 1908 release, we added support for calling external REST APIs from Remedy. 2002 release is no exception to our build out of integration story where we have implemented webhooks in Remedy and also released few more REST API endpoints. Webhook implementation in Remedy is generic to be used with any REST API client. Primary use case here is event management, like TrueSight integration with Remedy, where an event in TrueSight results in an incident in Remedy ITSM. However, unlike in the past where TrueSight used to poll Remedy at regular interval for any update to this incident, webhook implementation in Remedy will in turn enable Remedy to notify TrueSight whenever there is update to the said incident. The flow for webhook is abstracted in the graphic where application like TrueSight first registers AR webhook. While registering, TrueSight may also define qualifications like incident ID and which actions to trigger webhook, like status change for incident. For webhook registration, a new REST API call is added in the Remedy. So as a result, as incident progresses from one state to another, a notification is then sent to TrueSight. Again, webhook implementation is generic for Remedy and can be used by any application with REST API endpoints. Another REST related enhancement added is new REST API endpoints to retrieve menu metadata in Remedy. Potential use case here is external application building Remedy REST API based integration for logging an incident, and that application needs to get menu details for product or operation categorization from incident. So newly added REST API get menu and expand menu can be used when building such integrations. This release also improves how multi-form full-text search is performed in Remedy. We have seen multiple requests from customers where they ask for web search engine kind of behavior in Remedy search when double quotes are used. What it means when phrases are quoted in the Remedy search, show results only if entire phrases match, and consider ignore word list in those searches as well. To address this, a new configuration is added to FTS that supports exact matches for phrases. When this setting is enabled, after FTS reindexing, users will see a change in search results for quoted phrases. And then we have added yet another set of checks to configuration check utility like maximum attachment size set to 0 in centralized configuration or use of BMC reserve fields and so on. Next few are smart reporting updates. One enhancement we have added to smart reporting onboarding utility is ability to modify default role for users being onboarded. You can set any out of the box or custom role as default role for new users that are to be onboarded or synchronized into Remedy Smart Reporting. This essentially eliminates the administration overhead of changing the roles of multiple users after these users are onboarded in Smart Reporting. Again, if no role is set as default in the default organization, then existing behavior where consumer and collaborator is set as a default role for all new user, that continues. Also to clarify, this feature doesn't update roles of existing users. Next one is related to new CCS setting that has impact to smart reporting. To ensure optimal performance of ITSM as well as smart reporting application, there is a governance mechanism in place that limits number of rows that can be retrieved by a smart reporting application. However, we have seen cases where inadvertent changes to this setting in smart reporting administration area resulted in performance degradation for both ITSM and smart reporting. To ensure optimal performance of these applications, a new CCS parameter named JDBC role limit is added in the Remedy R system. When retrieving records from database, the lower value of either this new setting, JDBC role limit defined in AR or role limit parameter defined in smart reporting application is considered. And one update on smart reporting documentation. We have separated smart reporting documentation from ITSM doc space for ease of navigation and search of smart reporting content. Moving next to SSO, a whole bunch of enhancements are added to our single sign-on solution. Customers using SAML integration will see two major enhancements. One of it being using timeout settings, as in set in the SAML IDP. Identity providers supporting SAML authentication also have this session not or after configuration parameter, which defines the maximum session time. If the session not on or after value is configured on IDP side is less than the value specified in RSSO maximum max session timeout field, then the max session time is defined by the value configured on the IDP defines the session timeout. Another SAML related enhancement is retrieval of user groups, which in earlier releases was supported only for LDAP and local identity providers. In this release, retrieval of user group is extended for SAML identity providers as well. So in this case, RSS server retrieves information about user group from SAML assertion response by parsing the authentication login response from a SAML IDP. The information about the user group is temporarily stored on the Remedy SSO server during the lifetime of the authentication session. End users logging into applications integrated with Remedy SSO are authorized to access the application feature based on the groups they belong to. This enhancement will be used with TrueSight and RSS integration, where TrueSight solution uses group information along with the authentication. Next RSS change is about administration. Given that Remedy is being gateway for accessing multiple BMC applications, any configuration change affecting Remedy as service can have wider impact to users. To bring transparency to RSSO configuration changes and for full audit trail of such changes, Remedy SSO now includes capability for enabling audit of actions performed by all administrators in the Remedy SSO admin console. Once auditing of these actions enabled, audit records are displayed on the new audit tab in the admin's console, as you can see in the screen. Continuing with few more announcements for Remedy SSO, we have now added self-help with guided assistance to help you learn, navigate the product, and to actively complete tasks. From the self-help pane, you can start guided assistance, link to help topics, and watch videos relevant to where you are in the product. Next is single logout. In previous versions of Remedy SSO, in order to revoke an end user session on the Remedy SSO server and prevent automatic login of the application after the page refresh, end users had to log out from all applications. Those are integrated with RSSO and sharing this current session for the user. Starting with this release, Remedy SSO administrators can enable a new single logout option for a realm so that you can configure a global logout across all applications that are sharing this session. So as a result, when an user hits logout from any one application, user is logged out across all applications. Also, if user switches to any other application thereafter, user might get a login screen and will start a new session. And finally, a word on same-site cookie and its impact on Remedy SSO. So probably some of you are aware that Remedy SSO uses cookies to ensure that your users are able to seamlessly access all integrated applications. As an example, though dwp.yourdomain.com and itsm.yourdomain.com use the same domain name, they will in turn use cross-site cookies in the backend. That's how RSS works today. On the other hand, to help protect users from cross-site request forgery, several browsers are starting to enforce default cross-site cookie settings, or they're changing the way cross-site cookies are handled. As browsers implement changes to their default same-site attributes, cross-site cookie requests will not be sent, and as a result, users will be prevented from accessing applications. In fact, Google released Chrome 80 in February 2020 with this change, and other browser vendors like the Mozilla, Microsoft are expected to do the same thing in their browser version soon. So in order to continue to use Remedy SSO with new browser version, and when you have cross-site cookies, you must do a couple of things. So RSSO 2020 introduces a new configuration option that should be enabled manually. And the new option called as same-site cookie works only in conjunction with protected communications and another configuration option secure cookie. It means that RSS server itself and protected applications have to be available using HTTPS along with two configuration options enabled. Otherwise, RSS experience won't be the same for users who happen to use a new browser with these policies enforced. And finally, moving to compatibility updates for 20.02, which are most applicable for our customers using Remedy deployments on-premise. We have a major enhancement to the OS compatibility where we have certified latest versions of Red Hat, SUSE, Solaris in this release. Also, we have certified SQL Server 2019 for Remedy solution. One change in our deployment and installer going forward is related to Tomcat. Going forward, Remedy Fresh install will not include Tomcat bundle in respective installers, but rather rely on Tomcat service that customer has set up prior to installing Remedy. And finally, as BMC withdraw analytics product end of March 2020, Crystal Report Viewer is no longer a part of Remedy AR system installation. Effectively, which means that a fresh install of Remedy AR System 20.02 will not include DLL or other required file for Crystal Report integration to work. As an alternative, customers can always look at smart reporting. So that was the update for AR platform, smart reporting, and Remedy single sign-on for 20.02 release. With that, I'll turn it over to Peter. Peter, back to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Rahul. So we went through the different areas of enhancements of the 20.02 release. Let me quickly summarize again what the focus was for this release. First of all, you've seen the automation dashboard that we introduced. It gives you better transparency into how many of your work orders are automated and what the next focus for automation should be. You've seen our new solution for security incident management that helps you leverage all the benefits that ITSM incident management has specifically for your security incidents. You've seen the enhancements that we put into Smart IT as well as the new CMDB UI. And then last but not least, you've seen the platform enhancements that we rolled out as part of this 20.02 release with focus on integrations, administrations, and compatibility. Just very quickly, here are a number of references that have helpful information for you. Most importantly, it's the documentation page of the ITSM suite, which lists all the enhancements for the 20.02 release across the board for all the different elements. I do want to specifically call out the BMC Helix Multi-Cloud Service Management 20.02 enhancement page as well, because that goes into more details around the predefined integration that we've released. And then I want to point to our companion product here, Digital Workplace, which of course also had a 20.02 release. And you can see here the page that lists all the enhancements for Digital Workplace as part of this release round. Last but not least, I want to quickly draw your attention to our monthly BMC support blog for ITSM, which is called Hot Off the Press, which has a lot of valuable information. Definitely recommend that you every month take a look at what our BMC support team that focuses on ITSM shares in terms of valuable information. Last but not least, as I promised in the very beginning, I want to share a little bit of insight about our upcoming beta program. We're working on some very exciting enhancements around our ITSM UI, and that we're shifting our ITSM user interface towards progressive web applications, something that we've already done for Digital Workplace solution. This progressive web UI can then be used both for browser as well as on mobile devices, and makes it a lot easier to deploy the ITSM capabilities on mobile devices. Now, in addition to that, we also want to boost quite a bit the tailorability of the solution. And once you join the beta program, you'll see some very exciting, detailed new capabilities that we have here. Consider this a pre-announcement of the beta program. There will be an official announcement in the BMC communities, as always. But I do want to mention here to the audience that we plan to start this beta program fairly early on in the release cycle. We're planning to start with this beta program in April, so not too far out, and plan to do this beta program then over multiple phases, over multiple months, culminating in a release that we are targeting as part of our 20.08 release cycle. Again, I want to encourage you to follow the BMC Community's Customers Program page, where we make the official announcement and where we provide information about the registration for this beta program. But every customer who's interested, customer or partner, I should say, who's interested in understanding more about the direction of our user interface is definitely invited to join this beta program. With that, I'd like to thank you again for your time to join us today here. And I'd like to hand it over back to Greg.
Now I will take us through the closing, some self-help in contacting BMC. Our videos as well as this webinar recording are available via our YouTube channel. Once this information is posted, it is reflected in our Connect with BMC Helix ITSM and Remedy schedule, available at this communities link, as well as the product support pages that contain different videos, documentation, knowledge articles, combined based on product component. A very useful resource available 24/7. And as always, our technical support methods of contact via web, phone, and email, as well as the social channels as well. Thank you.